Hi guys, so I'm Matt here at the Starladder Season 9 offline finals. I'm joined here by EternaLEnVy from Cloud9, who's standing in for Fear for Evil Geniuses, who was unfortunately unable to attend the event. Now, how has your Starladder experience been so far?
It's been good. What can I say?
Yeah. Now, you were, how last minute were you? Was it about 3 hours before? Like how late did you find out, or how late were you asked to attend?
2 days before I flew, so 2 days before D2CL finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you get any time to practice with Evil Geniuses?
No, I played right after my D2CL match. I played 2 bottom games, and that was it.
Now, speaking of bottom, that's one hero you've been playing quite a bit here, and we haven't really seen you on that hero too much before. Are you kind of settling into that role now with EG?
I kind of just copied Sing Sing a little bit,
yeah.
And so far all my bottom games have been too easy. So I don't feel like we actually played any real games except for the game where I was Luna against Alliance. I think every game has been outdraft, so it's not that hard.
Now, speaking against the game against Alliance, the second game from last night was probably one of the best matches I've seen this year, and I know the community loved that match, and it was a really close, probably the closest you guys have come to losing a match here at Starladder. What's going through your mindset in a game like that?
I thought we lost, but I mean, no one said that. I think the atmosphere was really good.
Yeah.
Like when someone fucks up, like no one really holds it against you. It's not like they hold it in when it's like you don't feel any fear of your teammates thinking bad things about you during the game. No one really says anything bad, and you know they're not thinking it inside too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Now, for you, it's kind of an interesting experience because you've now been able to play, Cloud9 such a high caliber team and EG such a high caliber team. Looking at the two differences between the teams, just how has that been for you?
I don't know, there's a lot of things to talk about. The teams are different. The atmosphere is different. Yeah. Skill-wise, I'm not too sure. I think my team's really good as well.
So you talk about attitude and motivation and stuff like that. Now, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of things you're going to take away from this event and potentially try and implement in your team to try and improve things.
Yeah, I am, but it's not gonna be easy. Like the thing with EG right now is like they're a new team and they haven't faced disappointment. They're just rising and rising and rising. So like when things fall apart, I'm not sure how they're gonna recover. But right now it's kind of unfair as well. Like when you're at a LAN, you're usually more motivated. Mm-hmm. So the things I'm seeing might be biased. But yeah.
Now, beating Na'Vi the other day, has that kind of propelled you guys for this entire tournament? Like, you said, kind of young team, young guys, beating such a top tier and fair team like Na'Vi. Is that something that just carries you through an entire LAN event like this?
No, that was terrible. I think the game against Na'Vi, it was the first game. We outpicked like so hard, mm-hmm. And then somehow we almost lost. I think that was embarrassing actually. Yeah. And I leaped into a Beyond Godlike streak, and I just leapt and then died to Enchantress. So it was quite bad.
Now, have you been surprised how you've been able to fit in with the team so well and so easy? Bearing in mind you didn't really have a chance to play with them that much.
I think having a standing on a team doesn't necessarily mean like the team will be worse. It really, like, sometimes you have a stand-in and your team's like, oh, we're using a stand-in, we're not going to do well in this tournament, and they feel negative about the stand-in and about their own team. And EG hasn't been like that. Like, they think they have a good chance of winning this tournament, and even though they had a stand-in, the way they were talking about the tournament, it's like they're going to take it. So since they're confident, like, having a stand-in might even mean a good thing because I can help them with a lot of things, and they can help me. And I think the carry role, I think every role is hard under certain situations in the early game. Like if they trial lane first trial lane, it might be a little difficult. Maybe if I'm getting sacked mm-hmm. in a new team, that might be really bad. But for the carry role, usually like if you win your lane, you don't really do anything for like the first 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes can help you adjust to your new hero, help you adjust to the team atmosphere, and then after those 10 minutes, that's when you have things figured out, and then you can start moving. So the carry role is, I think, it's the easiest to stand in for.
Okay. Now, have you been surprised by any of the results here, like seeing Na'Vi drop down into the tiebreakers and then low bracket? Has that been surprising for you, or?
I expected a Chinese team to dominate everyone, so not really.
Now, speaking of the Chinese team, you're due to face DK pretty soon. Going into that game, is that probably going to be the hardest game you think you'll experience here so far?
I'm not too sure. Like PBD is an incredible drafter. We might just outdraft them like crazy and beat them in 10 minutes. Otherwise, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I only played one real game of them, and I wasn't that impressed about their late game. But it was pretty good, but like, atmosphere-wise. But late game decisions, I don't know. It's good, but I'm not sure if it's better than DK. DK is a really good late game as well.
Yeah. Now, I believe you guys actually had a chance to play DK in the player booth and, kind of like some unofficial private scrims. How did those go?
We won both of them pretty badly, I think. But like they're jet lagged, we're jet lagged, and it's a scrim.
Is there a potential that DK was maybe playing mind games there, just trying to throw you guys off, or do you think they were actually giving it all they had?
They're yelling and shit, so I don't think so. I think they were trying pretty hard. They got drafted once again.
Yeah. Now, speaking of jet lag, have you been suffering with that at all, or how have you been settling in over here at Ukraine?
I took some melatonin, so I actually slept. I think I slept more the first day, this LAN, than any LAN combined. Yeah. So I usually just sleep like an hour per day in a LAN. I can't sleep, too nervous, too excited, but I've just been taking like drugs and shit, so it's fine.
So have you been pretty happy with the format? It's kind of giving you guys a lot of breathing room to chill out and maybe watch some games or just even get some more sleep?
I think the format's been pretty good for us, for my group. Like we might have been playing at like 9 a.m. That would have been a disaster. And we're not in the lower bracket. Like I think the lower bracket's pretty bad. Like it's best of one. You have to play at like 8, 9. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty low. Now, for you coming over here, obviously you have to leave your team behind. Are they okay with this decision, you standing in at the last minute? Are they happy with you just to go play off with another team for a little bit?
It's definitely a good thing. I think they rescheduled all their matches, so that shouldn't be a problem. And like you're not gonna do much except watch Starladder anyway. There's no real teams to scrim against, and the teams you scrim against, like there's nothing to play for, so they're not gonna try that hard. At least here I can learn stuff from EG, and I can of course get better myself.
Yeah, and now how valuable is that? Just obviously being in EG, listening to how they think and how they play the game and act. It kind of gives you like an inside look at their team, and especially leading up to TI4 with you Cloud9 being an American team and EG being an American team. Is that really beneficial to you?
I think if you could look at the Skype of every team before you go into that tournament, like secretly you just hack into, I think you win that tournament. Yeah. I think it's really important. It helps a lot just to learn how the team speaks, how they think about a game, how they move, and how they communicate. But it's going to be good for my team, hopefully. But I think it's also going to be really good for EG, so trade-off.
So it's mutual beneficial there. Now, looking at just before Starladder, you guys played in the D2CL Season 2 finals. It was a pretty rough series. Can you just give us a brief overview of what went wrong in that series?
I think we weren't spiritually ready for playing the finals against Navi. It didn't seem like we're doing enough in the games, and like our attitude seems like kind of we're scared or something like that. Our drafts were kind of like we were kind of scared to draft some heroes. Like we banned heroes that we really wanted because we were worried that the enemy would get it. Okay. And there's just too many tournaments. Like there wasn't any hype for D2CL, so my team couldn't really get hype for it. Whereas Navi was boot camping. It was like the first day boot camping, seeing each other, like trying the hardest for Starladder. And with Bucharest and WPC coming in, like it was hard for us to get focused. That's not really a good excuse though. Like we really should like treat every tournament like it's like our first tournament.
Is that something you struggle with, just getting, especially for the online tournaments, just getting your team hyped up and, hey guys, there's a lot on the line here. I mean, D2CL was a fairly top-heavy prize pool. Is that something that you struggle to motivate your team? Is that they're not motivated by the money, or what is it? Yeah,
my team's not really that motivated by the money, so that's an issue. D2CL was a lot of money. Like first place was like first place in Starladder pretty much. So but we're not really that motivated by that. So it's hard to like. It's not like we didn't try. It's not like like we tried. Like we gave it our 80% or 90%, but it's not your 120%. It's like But my first time playing, my first tournament was like some random ass cup, like $500 cup, and I probably tried harder for that than T2CL. Like the feelings I went into it, and like the ESWC qualifier, like it's hard. Yeah.
How do you fix something like that?
So it's hard to say. Like when it comes to like humans and like how they interact. We'll have to see. Like Bucharest will be like it's not our first LAN with Bone 7, but it's our first real LAN with Bone 7. I don't think Korea really counts, and I think China was really hard on us, like the environment. So I'm really looking forward to playing like with Bone, especially in his own country. So he has no excuse, you know, no jet lag, no nothing. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be hugely valuable for you. Now, looking at Bucharest, who do you think is going to be your main primary target there?
Well, there's Navi and Alliance, you know. Navi, especially meet them in the finals, is going to be hella scary. I think Fnatic, they're not really that strong right now, but their drafts are still really good. And if they step it up in their play, then they're pretty scary as well.
And you mentioned Bone 7 and the whole visa issues. Is that something you worry about as a team, especially with potential TI4 invite coming up?
I'm always worried about how Valve treats their invites, since pot and bottom, and I think IP kind of got shafted last year, and it's really hard to. I think IceFrog has all the he can just do whatever he wants, so it's hard to say. I believe we deserve an invite. I'm not really worried about Bone 7 not getting a visa for TI. I think with all the we have lawyers, I don't think it's going to be that difficult for him to get into TI. But for things like the BTS Cup, Summit Cup, I'm not sure we'll get into that one.
Okay. Now, obviously, you're with Cloud9 now. As an organization, how much has Cloud9 been able to help you guys out? Have you been enjoying that relationship? Yeah,
I think it's the most professional organization I've ever been in. Though I've only been in EG, so I mean, okay, I'm blaming EG here, but they're pretty good. Like Orgera, like we joined the organization, we filled out a sheet, and then Orgera came in like a day or two, and they gave us like 2 sets of everything. They asked us if there's anything we want, like if the organization is helping them enough, if there's anything else we seek in the organization, like any improvements we can give them and stuff. So it's pretty impressive.
I imagine that's really important. I mean, you as a team, obviously your time at Speed Gaming wasn't the smoothest in terms of management. Being in that position now where you have strong management behind you, and you don't really have to worry about that now. And you obviously have Charlie helping out as well. Does that help a lot just whilst you're playing?
I think most organizations are detrimental to their team. You have to worry about whether your salary is going to come in on time. Things like even like ditching an organization, whether like your contract's going to screw you over. Because some organizations kind of they pay like 2 months later. Like I know MTW took a lot of the money from DreamHack. Stuff like that, you have to worry about that. But with Cloud9, we don't have to worry about anything. And I can just whack Charlie around, and I know he won't look at me negatively, and I trust him that he'll do things right. And so it's pretty nice.
That's good to hear. Now, you also mentioned China. Obviously, you guys have now qualified for WPCS. And your previous trip in China wasn't probably the smoothest trip. Are you looking at going back there this year? And what's going to change this year, basically?
I'm going to miss my anime convention for that, so it's a big blow to me. It's like one of the only times I go out in the year. But I think the first issue I'd look at is a food issue. So I think I'm just going to eat Subway every day with Bone.
Will Charlie let you eat Subway every day?
No, he hates it. But one problem is everyone went around together as a team, and I think that's really bad. I think things like team houses and stuff are kind of detrimental to your team. If you're at 5 all day, every day, it's not good. And we kind of did that in China. You get sick of your roommates and stuff like that. And we eat the same food, and Bone doesn't want to eat what we eat, but he's too scared to go around himself. So. But this time, if we want to wake up at different times, that's good. I don't people need different hours of sleep, and I thought it was terrible that we all slept at the same time, we all woke up at the same time. I think everyone should just wake up, do their own stuff. If they want to eat this, they can walk and do it themselves. It's not that hard, and just show up in time for your practice, for your matches. Just like at home, basically, except you're over there. That's it.
So, looking at China, how valuable do you think that experience is going to be for you as a team? Looking at, obviously the international.
I think it's going to be really good because I was hoping the Chinese teams would do well here, and they are, so that's good. Because if the Chinese team sucked there, then there's no real reason to go there. I think DK and IG are really strong. Though I've looked at some other replays, and it doesn't seem like VG and Newbie and them are playing that well, but they have good players, so they might randomly get better as TI approaches. Yeah.
Now, speaking of DK, obviously this is the next team you're going to face. It's going to be probably one of the biggest matches here so far. How confident are you right now that you can beat DK?
I always randomly get motivated to win a tournament at a LAN. Like I could be extremely unmotivated. Like I just lost to D2CL. I was extremely depressed on the plane ride. I was like, oh fuck, I don't play Bottom. I don't play any of these stupid heroes. Why the hell do they want me to play these stupid heroes? And then like, RTZ plays like more than half the heroes I play on Cloud9. Yeah. But so it's kind of biased, but when I land in a LAN, I usually get really motivated to win the entire tournament. So whatever I say is usually like, I'm going to win this tournament. So I always feel confident. Yeah. And
as EG themselves, they've been really helpful at integrating you in the team, especially PPD. You mentioned he's a really good captain.
I think it just, Dota, you can kind of play every hero. It's not that hard, I think. It just, like, they look at me confidently, they trust me, and I trust them, so there's no, like, I don't have to think about like, oh, if I make a mistake, is EG gonna look at me as, oh, we have a stand and this guy's losing us the tournament. And so I don't feel that way at all, and so I can play easily.
I'm gonna ask you a question now, and you don't have to answer it, but say for instance that in the future, EG approached you to join them, would you even consider that?
I don't want to think about any of this stuff till post-TI. I trust my team, and I think my team's really good. We have some issues to fix, that's it.
Okay, all right, thank you, EternaLEnVy. Before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to give a shout out? And obviously your fans here.
Shout out to Crunchyroll, HyperX, Logitech, and Alienware. And shout out to my team. Shout out to Enruen, Spirits, Torn Chieftain, and moderators, my stream. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you.